Okay, so I'm going to do this example this way. You got two brokers, and they both make 100 grand. Okay, one of them files a Schedule C. One of them is an S Corp. Okay, so the play on this is on the FICA tax, okay, the Social Security. And generally, roughly, you pay about 15%, okay? It's not exactly 15, but we use 15, okay? So if I'm a Schedule C, which is a sole proprietor, not an entity, not a corporation, none of that, pay my taxes, at the end of this thing, I've got 85,000 bucks, okay? It's 100 grand minus 15, very simple. Okay, but let's just say that I decide to set up an S corporation. And this is a really important part of an S corporation. When you file your Form 2553, IRS will tell you that if you don't do this the right way, IRS has the ability to come in and what's called recharacterize your income, which you'll understand in just a minute here, so they can get more of it. So you want to do this the right way. You need to pay yourself something called a reasonable salary. That's the key, all right? Reasonable salary. However you define that is between you and your CPA and God. I'm not here to advise on that, but you got to do that. And I think a simple third-party tool to do that is salary.com. Last time I checked, the average annual salary for a realtor is about 30,000 bucks a year. Might have gone up a little bit, but last time I checked it was that. I did not check it today. Anyway, so what happens regardless of what business you do is that you pay yourself a reasonable salary. And I'm just going to split the baby here and say that salary is $50,000, okay? So on that $50,000, you're going to pay about $4,500 in FICA, and that's going to give you about $42,500 left, okay? But you made 100 grand, okay? And it's important here we get this right. In an S corporation, this additional $50,000, it's what's called in an S corporation a distribution. It's not a dividend. It's a distribution. So this money goes to the shareholder or shareholders FICA free.
Joe, isn't there a tipping point though? Like if you're hiring somebody a CPA to manage your books and somebody to file your taxes, there's extra expense for filing as an S corp.
So if you're going to file one of these entities, there is a cost of administration, all right? And there's basically three things that you need to do, okay? One of them is you have to file a quarterly 940, okay? This is where you report wages on your salary and your Social Security tax. There's also an annual form called 941, and I might have those numbers transposed. I can never remember until I look at them. I didn't look it up, but it's one or the other. But once a year, you have to file what's called FUTA tax, and that's your unemployment tax, and that's a combination of state and federal. Okay, and so you have to file these returns, and if you've never filed them, you got to pay somebody to do it. Then that's going to cost you money.